If you would allow me for a moment, I would like to take a minute and speak about why I have issues with religion. And most specifically, I will be speaking about the Catholic Church and their all-powerful leader of the time, Pope Francis. Pope Francis recently made a couple of comments in regards to the attacks on Paris from Muslim followers and the attacks based on the whole pictures of Muhammad that were put out by Charlie Hebdo. Now, in his comments, it is said that he did not condone the attacks by Muslims. He did not say that you can justify these attacks. He did say that you cannot justify attacks of violence through God and using a religion or a God as an excuse for these attacks, which is all well and good, which is a fair point to say. You cannot justify the attacks that the Muslims made on Paris in regards to Charlie Hebdo. You just can't. Now, I will give you that they will try to say that, well, to even make an image of Muhammad or Allah would be an act of war against the Muslim faith, because you're not supposed to make any graven images of Muhammad or Allah at all, whether they're a mockery or not. But here's an issue, because in that exact same speech, Pope Francis is quoted as saying this: "If my good friend, Dr. Gaspari, says a curse word against my mother, you can expect a punch. It's normal. You cannot provoke. You cannot insult the faith of others. You cannot make fun of the faith of others. There are so many people who speak badly about religions or other religions, who make fun of them, who make a game out of the religions of others. They are provocateurs, and what happens to them is what would happen to Dr. Gaspari if he says a curse word against my mother. There is a limit." Now, here's the thing. I said before that it is quoted saying that Pope Francis said you cannot defend these attacks through a God. But even here, he's saying that if you insult someone else's God, if you insult someone else's religion, expect a punch in the face. He is saying, in this quote, talking about his good buddy Dr. Gaspari, saying that it is fully justifiable to punch someone in the face if they say something demeaning about your God or your religion, which means that he is saying you can defend and justify an attack through religion and through your God. This Pope Francis, instead of openly saying and openly criticizing the actions of Muslims and the actions of the people who attacked Paris, all because they printed a picture of Muhammad in a joking manner, instead of coming out and saying, this was wrong of you to do, you should not have done this, your God is not a reason to attack other people, and ending the story there, no, he continued to defend their actions by giving this little analogy of his good friend Dr. Gaspari cursing his mother. This is backwards. This is doublespeak. This is hypocrisy and contradictions within the exact same speech that wonderful Pope Francis gave. The man who leads the Catholic religion. This is the man who has godlike powers, as it were, who speaks directly with God and is divined by God to be the leader of the Catholic religion, despite the fact that he has to sit behind bulletproof glass. I'm sorry, if you're divined by God and you're supposed to be really leading the religion and you were selected by God, why wouldn't God protect you from bullets? Why do you need that bulletproof glass? This is the same guy who sits there in a wonderful, wonderful cathedral that's got so much money spent on it and sits in luxury saying, we need to help the poor. Now, excuse me while I hold my gold scepter as Pope. This is the same Pope who in the middle of an AIDS epidemic in Africa made a statement to them claiming that condoms were evil and that condoms were wrong. And here's the wonderful thing about Africa. It has been taken over by the Christian religion. And what they say to a certain extent in Africa is taken as law. So of course, the best idea during an AIDS epidemic, during an issue where there's a lot of famine, a lot of poverty, a lot of death and a lot of suffering in this country, if for nothing else, slightly created by the fact that there is overpopulation and that people don't use condoms there and don't practice a safe form of sex. This guy is telling them that condoms are evil. So no, screw your environment, screw where you live, don't use condoms because you'd be sinning against God for using a condom. Because as you know, it's better to to spill your seed in the womb of a prostitute than to spill it on the ground. You know, words from God. It's the truth. That's what God says. It's better for you to fuck a prostitute than it is to masturbate and spill your seed on the ground. And yet, a lot of the Christian community says that prostitution is evil. I dare say that God condones prostitution and thinks it's a great idea. But this is one of the many reasons I hate religion. Not just the attacks that the Muslims made. And now, okay, allow me to say this very quickly. I personally know members who follow the Muslim religion, who follow Islam, that would not attack someone for saying something bad about Muhammad or saying something bad about Allah or drawing a picture of Muhammad or drawing a picture of Allah. I cannot say that every last one of them are like this because I know for a fact they're not. But when you look at the evidence, especially of Middle Eastern or Near Eastern countries that are controlled by Muslim faith, that are controlled by Islam, and you look at the way that they react to things, the way that they speak, the fact that a majority of them that still follow extremely closely to what the Quran says, that you will see that the stereotypes that they're given are slightly justified because they do act in this manner. They really do. A huge subset of the Islamic faith, the Islamic faithful, the followers of Islam, do act in this reactionary fashion. You can see that. It is hard to miss. It is almost impossible to miss the actions that come out of extremely Islamic-controlled nations. It's almost impossible to not see the actions that they perform, to see the reactionary ways that they act when someone posts a picture of Muhammad in a joking manner, or just posts a picture of Muhammad in general. This is the issue. No. Not all Islamic followers, not all Muslims are exactly this way. No, it's not the case. I know that for a fact because I know too many myself that don't act this way. Much like I know that not all Catholics and not all Christians agree with Pope Francis, despite the fact that he is the divine leader of the Catholic Church and the Catholic religion. Not all of them agree with him. But the majority, the actions of the majority are what's going to be seen the most. And if it's not the majority, then it's going to be the actions of the loudest group. If there are those out there that don't support what Pope Francis is saying, that don't think free speech should be free until you say something that someone else doesn't like, which is the exact antithesis to the idea of free speech, if you don't agree with this stuff, you need to make your voice heard. If you are an Islamic follower and you don't agree and you don't support the actions against Charlie Hebdo and the actions of Je suis Charlie and what happened there, you need to make your voice heard. Just because you've got a cell of people in a religion that are acting as terrorists, that are making death threats against entire organizations or entire groups because they dare to post a picture of Muhammad, despite that, it should not stop you. The thing is, yes, it is a little scary to think that someone could declare a war against you for posting a picture of Muhammad. It is slightly scary. I cannot deny this fact that many people would be scared and frightened by this idea. But to be frightened by it and shut up and not open up and not be willing to speak out against it shows that they won. They have just won through a terroristic bully tactic of threatening your life. They have won and seized and gained control over you personally through their actions and through their words. You lost the second that you are willing to not speak out against it. You lost the second you're afraid to speak out against a pope who believes that free speech is only free when it doesn't offend somebody, or more specifically, when it doesn't offend their religion. And to that point, many people of a religious faith believe that atheism and agnosticism are religions, are faiths. That you have to have faith to be an atheist, or you have to have faith to be an agnostic. I personally am an agnostic atheist. I see no evidence to prove that there is a God, and as such, I will hold no beliefs in a God. I cannot prove your God as true or false one way or another. Hence, I'm agnostic atheist. But many see that as a religion. So, wouldn't this Pope Francis's comments, speaking about how we are provocateurs, we are in essence bullies, we're trolls just for daring to say something about their religion, wouldn't that be an offense towards me? Wouldn't you, as the Pope of the Catholic community, where many of the Catholics believe that atheism is a religion, wouldn't you have just broke free speech by daring to insult my faith in atheism? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand atheism is not a religion. I understand atheism doesn't require faith. But there are so many people that honestly believe that to be an atheist, you have to have faith in atheism, and you have to have faith in nothing, and you have to claim it as a religion. It is your religion. This is just a series that I'm going to call What I Hate About Religion. When something happens that I take notice of, when something happens I see that comes up in the news that rubs me one way or another in regards to religion, I will make a video about it. Regardless if you've had a couple hundred other atheists out there making videos on it or not. It's my free speech. It's my free right to do so. And that's what this is going to be like. It's just going to be me sitting here ranting unedited for a couple of minutes, giving my opinion and giving my viewpoints on different situations and different events. So I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. I hope what I said makes sense. And once again, and as always, I bid you a fine adieu. I'll see you on Wednesday, hopefully, with a new Deciphering the Bible.